All right, so let's start, or I hand the mic over to you. We're going to have a presentation from CAPEXUS. Jan Andrle, he's head of architecture, and Lucie Mala, she's a workplace consultant, and they are going to talk about user experience in post-COVID workplace. Again, just maybe say a few words about yourself, and then we're ready to go. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Greetings and thank you for joining the session with us. And definitely before we start, I want to mention, should you have any questions during our presentations, please write them in the questionnaire or chat box, and we will gladly address them after the presentation. Today we want to share with you our view of the concept of user experience and how important it is for us in our work, especially now when the workplace has changed significantly since the outbreak of COVID. Allow me to introduce my colleague Lucie, our workplace consultant.
Hello, my name is Lucie. I'm a tiny little bit nervous, but thank you. And in return, let me kindly introduce our head of architecture here in CAPEXUS, Prague, Czech Republic, my very talented colleague, Jan.
Thank you. Yeah, we are CAPEXUS, design and build company based in Prague and also in Bratislava, and one of the founding members of Studio Alliance, which is a group of like-minded companies and designers from across the Europe. So what is a user experience and how does it relate to architecture and workplace consulting, workplace consulting? Yeah, well, let's start with a basic definition. In our field, user experience means the way we perceive, the way we feel, and the way we interact with our environment. Yes, and it has already been well established that how we feel in the workplace also influences how productive we are and also how satisfied we are. The higher the quality of the workplace, the better results of the user experience. Numerous aspects are at play. Mostly and most generally, it is physical environment, technological and social properties of the workplace. And right there in the middle is the sweet spot. If we manage to successfully satisfy the physical, technological, and social needs of our clients, we manage to create an outstanding workplace environment and the best user experience one can get working at such space.
But it's very true that not all of these topics can be solved purely just from our side. It is crucial that the future users and clients participate actively as well.
Yes, and now we would like to share with you 2 case studies showing how user experience can be approached. Coincidentally, both of them are telecom giants, each with specific assignment. One is pre-COVID and the other already affected by COVID events.
And the first project I am going to introduce you, will you give me the control?
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's the telecom giant T-Mobile. This is a project that took place in Prague, Czech Republic, and it covered 2,500 employees, a very big project, 21,000 square meters. Originally, it was 30,000, 21,000 it was after the shrink. The project started before COVID, so the idea or the vision also was pre-COVID. And we in CAPEXUS did the whole design and build part. Our approach allowed the client to save 1/3 of the area, so it was significantly cost effective as well. And the project, that's the reason why we're presenting it to you, the project was as much about the physical workplace as it was about the renewal and a certain renaissance in the company. The conversion involved a company-wide mindset change, and there was really some heavy lifting involved.
And how does this happen actually? Like this change?
Of course, things like these happen with the client. It starts with the client. It happens when the stakeholders, I mean the decision makers, acknowledge the need to take the leap forward in order to take the whole company forward. Because, as someone famous said, first we shape the buildings and then they shape us. Do you know who said that?
Winston Churchill said that.
Okay. How do you know that?
Sorry, I saw it on your notes, actually.
Okay, allegedly Winston Churchill said that. Don't ask me why. The physical environment comprises a big part of what we nowadays call the employee experience or user experience. So let's see how this one began. It began with a name because every big project needs a name, and ours was Locus. It's from Latin meaning space. And the project Locus was meant to take the company from the before situation with closed offices for 4, 6, 8 employees, very traditional setup, long corridors, nightmarish corridors like from Shining, no space for collaboration, really, no space for collaboration.
Yeah.
So do you remember that?
Yeah, it was definitely less than optimal.
And our task was to take that to the modern, very future-proof workplace. Second step after the name was defining the vision for the T-Mobile future work for the new headquarters. So the C-suite, they had a vision and there were clearly stated principles that we used as stepping stones to fulfill the vision. Principles such as equal approach and trust-based leadership. And on this particular project, these were not idle slogans. Management really took on a lead by example approach. For example, they used to have their own reception, and now in the new workplace, they participate in the activity-based concept. They operate just like everybody else in the office. They didn't take the best views. They really walk the talk, and it's a loud and clear message. And then zoning, desk sharing, and work from anywhere were the pillars of the new office concept.
Well, this is quite a difficult approach, and let me ask, who was the partner for you on this project?
Well, as you see from the tools, these affect and are affected not only by the design of the offices, but also by the HR strategy. And that is why the HR and internal communication and marketing departments, together with the procurement department, were our partners on the whole project start to finish. Let's have a look at the change management tools because there were many. There were videos from the design and concept creation, videos from the construction site as well, videos with interviews with the stakeholders. There was the whole microsite, very well informing about current updates and initiatives and options how to participate and all that jazz. Thanks to branding, there is a legitimate sense of purpose, proudly communicated everywhere in the new office, and the sense of belonging to the T-Mobile company is supported. Then there were Q&A sessions. There were webinars with the architects and town hall presentations. We also developed office etiquette, the manual for office etiquette, and also rules for effective meetings that are all now an inherent part of the office usage.
Wow, definitely looks like a lot of work.
It does, yeah, it was a lot of work. It was work on our side and work on the client side as well. And in this cooperation between us, CAPEXUS, and the T-Mobile's project team, that together gave rise to the change management and allowed the project as a whole to be successful. And it was really match made in heaven. Because the change is simply not only about the new office layout or the new office design, but now let's have a look on the office design next. The governing design concept was to experience the workplace as a town and community. Basically, from the architectural point of view, it's activity-based workplace with a universal 80% sharing ratio. So it has the benefits of flex workplace. And that was very lucky, as COVID showed us that this will definitely be a trend going forward.
And what does this actually mean from the point of view of user experience?
Well, from the users, from the point of user experience, the office is designed as a city or village or following a urban concept. It has its neighborhoods you see in the pink with amenities. It has its community plazas like co-working parts in yellow. It has a variety of places for everyone and also zones for individual teams. So everybody can use everything. It is a democracy in use with some simple rules. And the result was that the options for collaboration increased in a totally game-changing manner. Just imagine the change from the closed offices with virtually no other type of space to this concept where you have such a vivid palette of options. There are various zones with various functions and various etiquettes. Let's see the results for yourselves on the before and after pictures that I'm going to show you. So this is the neighborhood that consists of home bases and amenities. There are numerous ingenious perks in the design, equipment, and acoustic solutions. Home bases have shared workstations for quiet, individual focused work. And the workstations are shared as we believe strongly that the self-management in free assigned spaces teaches accountability and good planning. And so the home bases also have their amenities. Those are alternative zones for meetings, brainstorming, and networking.
Well, regarding the amenities, how did you decide which type goes to what team, or how did you manage this?
Well, actually, the teams themselves could choose the amenities in their neighborhoods. They had some assigned area that they could use, and they could use that according to their preferences and work styles. And of course, it was subject to validation from our technological supervision. And for every neighborhood, there was this focus hub that it's also an alternative zone for meetings and networking, but it's also a closed office. That's the change, because home bases are open, and this is a quiet closed office for deeply focused work that offers different disposition settings, as you can see on the design scheme. And I have to admit that I really like these. Was it your idea?
Well, it was a team effort.
There is also, according to the meeting settings, there is a representative conference zone on the ground floor for mostly external people. And that has a conference hall for almost 100 people for trainings and presentations. And then there are on each floor, there are rooms for internal and hybrid meetings. There are creative rooms for brainstormings and creative collaboration. Because collaboration in such environments develops strong communication skills. And before, when people were just closed in the offices, they couldn't have had to collaborate in any way, besides emails, perhaps. And so all these have various designs and various equipment, not just from the design point of view, but also technological. There are various AV settings.
Do they have a booking system installed?
There is a booking system for some of them, and some are to be used ad hoc.
Yeah.
There are lobbies and community zones that where the tone is very light and playful, and the aim was to touch all senses. How many senses do you have?
6? Or you have 6, right?
Yeah,
I have just 4, I guess.
Yeah, we didn't try to impress 6 sense, but maybe we should have. So there's vision, and that's to be impressed with great design and broad strokes of color. Hearing with effective acoustic solutions. Touch with pleasant finishes. And then there's smell and taste. That's a little bit harder. But we aimed for combination of office etiquette, effective zoning, for lunch kitchens especially, and there's a company canteen as well. So for example, in the office etiquette manual, there is stated that we shouldn't eat at our desktop, which I believe is very healthy approach. To not have lunch at the, I mean, I didn't want to say that it's healthy to have the lunch. No, you get me. There are co-working zones with kitchenettes and tea corners or cafes, because we in Czech Republic, we drink coffee much more than tea. And these are the amenities, the areas that increase the likelihood of casual encounters and conversation, perhaps with people not just from your team and not from your day-to-day work. So the takeaway, and I know you've heard this before, is that the flexible workplace, just as the one we did for T-Mobile, is a real advantage for the company when it comes to creating productive habits. And of course, productive employees are an asset to the business. And in the nutshell, for both the client, for T-Mobile, and us in CAPEXUS, this was an amazingly successful project. It finished when COVID struck, so we can only now start to see how it will play out, but we are quite confident about it and very proud to have been part of it. And in Prague, in the recent years, we have seen quite a few splendid projects, and this is no doubt one of them. What do you think?
Yeah, it is, definitely. It's our project, right?
Yeah, okay. So this was the first project, and I will hand over the control to Jan.
Thank you. And that's leading us to the second case study. In this case study, we would like to demonstrate how we tackled an uneasy challenge to explain and design a new workplace concept in a competition. In a competition where the winner is chosen by all employees.
That sounds scary.
Yeah. Well, international telecom company Vodafone decided to adopt a radical agile workplace strategy. It was a response to global pandemic. Well, they tried to reflect requirements for health, safety, use of home office or online conferencing. Basically, Vodafone headquarters came up with new ecosystem of the workplace. Users can now choose to work from various locations, not just from home office, and not just from office itself. And as a result, the traditional office is evolving into a hub, which is the heart of the company, and place mainly intended for meeting and connecting with other coworkers, and much less for individual work behind the desk. These tasks, the task was to build a pilot project in Prague headquarters, following these new guidelines, and it was supposed to be done on one typical floor of 3,000 square meters. And the contractor would be chosen based on the vote of all employees.
Okay, shouldn't we say who won that? Because I know who won that in the end.
Well, Well, we won. Luckily, I wanted to leave it as a surprise for the conclusion, but thank you for the question. So to sum up our view at this task, it was basically our task was to design, present, and explain completely new office concept to a group of people that we knew very little about, except the fact that they are employees of Vodafone. Well, we had two main concerns. First, the new workplace concept was very complex, quite possibly confusing for regular people. I mean, like people who are not working with the workplace concept every day, and it definitely wouldn't be received well by the people of the company. And our second concern was subjectivity of aesthetic feeling, or in other words, personal design taste. So how to design something that the majority of people will like or want to dislike. So we discussed it thoroughly, and eventually we thought our key here and our main aim is to piss off as few people as possible. Sorry for my language.
Sorry for your French.
So what if instead of presenting an interior design proposal, we try to tell a story, and we put the employee inside the story as its hero, basically.
I really like storytelling.
Yeah, and so it took us a fair amount of time to fully understand such a complex description of all the specifics of Vodafone's new workplace strategy. Yeah, this conveys the feeling we had.
And it's true. Sorry to interrupt, but is it true that the Vodafone, at the beginning, they didn't understand it very well as well?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. It actually was a common, joint exercise to understand it together. So yeah, we studied for a quite extended period of time. But in this case, we were to present these ideas or this new concept to the employees and convince them, to vote for us. So we wanted to translate it in a more familiar way, basically, so that everybody understands the concept and can imagine themselves in such workplace.
Is it because that what feels familiar also feels good? Is that it?
Yeah, that's true actually. Everything almost every time is about emotion, and when people perceive something in a familiar way, they are used to it. They unintentionally or subconsciously perceive it as a good thing. Yeah, because of that, in our presentation to the employees, we avoided showing specific and technical details of the proposal. And instead, we focused on communicating feelings, and we took them through the interior as if they would experience the workday. So they would walk in the morning, get their morning coffee, and chat with fellow colleagues. Then they would check up on the emails and head off to a hybrid meeting with their team. Which is taking place in an informal and engaging space that encourages their creativity and satisfies their social needs. We show the users that after the rush hour and possibly after lunch, they will find a place to rest and to contemplate. And again, it is very important to skillfully convey feelings and emotions that we want them to take away from our presentation. Finally, we also covered the use of communication technology that allows hybrid cooperation with team members working from elsewhere. And to show the flexibility and versatility of all spaces. We don't forget to stress out the important features as the greenery and design, of course, but they are basically in the background. Well, and the key is for them, for the employees, to see pretty pictures. Well, the point is not to see just pretty pictures with arranged furniture, but mainly to experience how they might feel using that space. Yeah. So finally, the outcome was very different from monofunctional super open space that it once was. Now it's a living and agile office environment. Here you can see the difference in detail, how it was transformed. You can see how monofunction was transformed into a vivid and flexible ecosystem on this comparison.
It's quite a change.
And of course, following the idea of marketing, we also used some marketing slogans just to get them excited.
No comment.
Yeah. So to conclude, to achieve the best user experience, we need to successfully satisfy the physical, technological, and social needs of our users.
And second point, to very skillfully and perhaps even sensitively communicate the future experiences, emotions, and interactions that we see coming in the workplace and can advise the clients too.
So, because it's about the experience, the design comes after.
And we are CAPEXUS. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that wasn't too exhausting. We still have 4 minutes left. Good job.
Thank you.
So maybe we can end the sharing of the screen, because otherwise we won't see your questions and the chat box. I think that would be really, really bad if we now just realize that we were not connected the whole time.
Don't say that.
So what do we have here? It should be starting 1 o'clock. Yes. Now, okay. That was about the sound. Great one. Okay, thank you very much for that last comment.
Yeah, well, should you have any questions in the future?
Okay, if we have 3 minutes, so I have a question.
Okay, shoot.
My feeling from your case study is that you actually don't want to show people that they don't understand something. Is it right? That's why you didn't show technical things and you only show what is familiar, because
yeah, that's a part of the reason why we did it. Definitely, if you show something that's complex and you are getting into a situation where the people who you are presenting it to might not get the right message from it, you are risking that you will not be understood.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just you're basically saying that it's easier to understand emotions. Let me rephrase that. We don't want to show them something that they don't understand rationally, but you think they understand emotions. But what about people who struggle with emotions?
That's too complex and too psychological for me. I'm just a simple architect, so I think in my case study, I wanted to point out that we used idea of user experience and also some marketing theories to sell our product, our proposal to the basically
very wide
layman's or people who are not basically professionals.
No, I get that. Perhaps I wanted to stress out that it was a bit more complicated, a bit more difficult than how you played it out. because there were some theories and some background, some.
This presentation shows it nicely and neatly. How
and it wasn't an easy process, as I remember.
But we have one question from the audience. How did we convince all employees to let go of their desks?
So if I had another 30 minutes, I would tell you it's always a struggle. And I think particularly in Czech Republic, because I am a workplace consultant and I come across this as well. And in Czech Republic, it is really difficult. People are extremely territorial. And I don't know, we have some fixation on this. So it's always a huge change management effort. It's never easy. And it never just goes from the down up. It has to come from the management and from the leaders, and that's why I said that to lead by example. If you see your managing director having the same amenities, having the same desk, then it could work.
Yeah, that was.
Otherwise, it would never work.
That was definitely the case in T-Mobile study case, case study. And for example, in Vodafone project, the decision came from the headquarters. It wasn't that there wasn't the point where we need to convince someone. And also, I mean, there is one point that's important to mention. Vodafone was already using shared desking before. I mean, desk sharing.
Yeah.
But there was like, as I mentioned, there was like super open space with 300 desks, and all of those desks were shared. So they already were sharing. They didn't have their own desks. It was
a bit easier.
Yeah.
Okay, and we ran up now. I'm not sure if they're gonna disconnect us or how that's gonna happen. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for interacting.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna hit the leave button.
What happens now?
Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day and the rest of the
month.
30 minutes to explain.
Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.